Making headlines, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz has stated that the decision to implement a nationwide ban on vaping in the Maldives is a part of the administration's ongoing efforts to promote ethical conduct and moral integrity within society and to ensure the holistic development of the nation. The Maldives enforced a full ban on the use of vaping devices and vaping products as of midnight on 15th December. And Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif arrives in China to attend the 3rd China-Indian Ocean Region Forum on Blue Economy Development Cooperation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naim. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz states that the decision to implement a nationwide ban on vaping in the Maldives is a part of the administration's ongoing efforts to promote ethical conduct and moral integrity within the society and to ensure the holistic development of the nation.
The ban, which took effect on 15th December, encompasses the usage and sale of vaping devices and related products. During his address to the residential community of Mahibadu, Alif Tal Atoll, President Muiz underscored the significance of this ban is a step toward instilling virtues and positive traits within the community. The President's visit to Mahibadu on Sunday morning was part of his ongoing tour of several islands in Alif Tal Atoll. Highlighting the significance of cultivating the mindset of the people to attain holistic national development, President Dr. Muiz underscored the necessity of reviving Islamic virtues and traits in contemporary society, a mission actively pursued by his administration. He also addressed the concerning addiction rates among youth and children and stated that the decision to ban vaping was undertaken to fortify the social fabric of the nation. He also cited scientific research on the adverse health effects of vaping, characterizing it as detrimental to cognitive function and overall well-being. The President revealed that the decision to ban vaping was made on 14th October following a public request. Subsequently, the Tobacco Control Act was amended to prohibit the use and sale of vaping devices and related products. The amendment came into effect on 15th November, with the full ban effect enforced from 15th December. President Muiz reiterated that this measure would contribute to mental development, instill good behavior, and promote ethical conduct and moral integrity within the community, ultimately leading to the nation's holistic development.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz announces that upcoming amendments to the Decentralization Act will ensure that members of Women's Development Committee WDCs receive designated salaries and Ramadan allowance entitlements.
Currently, WDC members receive an allowance for their work as their positions are not permanent. While they are not entitled to the annual Ramadan allowance, they also cannot apply for bank loans as salaried employees. These long-standing concerns raised by WDC members have remained unresolved until now. Speaking to residents of Dangeti, Alif Tal Atoll, as part of his tour to islands within the atoll, President Muiz announced that the amendments would come into effect next year. He emphasized that WDC members had been unfairly neglected in the past despite their full-time commitment and significant contribution to island development and pledged to address their concerns and find a solution to these issues. The President said the government would submit the necessary amendments to bring about the change to Parliament during its upcoming session. He noted that the government aims to bring a prosperity to the citizens without taking away anything from them, stressing that this would be achieved without resorting to measures such as printing money.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz reiterates his administration's pledge to transform Mahibadu, Alif Tal Atoll into an urban center, including the reclamation and development of Mafarfaru Lagoon. This commitment was reaffirmed during a meeting with the residential community of Mahibadu as part of the two-day visit to several islands in Alif Dal Atoll. Speaking to the residents, President Dr. Moise underscored his dedication to fulfilling his promises. The most significant of these pledges, according to President Dr. Moise, is granting jurisdiction of Maafaru Lagoon to the Mahibadu Island Council, a promise fulfilled earlier in April. Highlighting the importance of Maafaru to the residents, the President announced that land reclamation and other related works will commence next year. The administration has identified 7 islands across the country for transformation into urban centers, with Mahibadu being one of them. Developing urban centers is crucial for ensuring the provision of services at the highest standards and for the future development of the country, according to the government. This initiative is part of the administration's population consolidation program aimed at sustainable development nationwide. The developmental plans for Mahibadu encompass the expansion of housing option and economic activities. President Dr. Moise reiterated his commitment to developing 100 housing units on the island, with the project scheduled to commence next year and progress swiftly towards completion. The government will also undertake all necessary works related to the land reclamation of Maafaru Lagoon, said President Dr. Moise, including the formulation of a comprehensive land use plan. This plan will designate areas for sports facilities and an Islamic center and a hospital. President Dr. Mohammad Moise assures the residents of Mahibadu Island will play a pivotal role in shaping the developmental master plan for Maafaru Lagoon. This assurance was given during a meeting with the members of Mahibadu Island Council and the Women's Development Committee WDC as part of the President's 2-day visit to several islands in Alif Dal Atoll. During the meeting, Council members shared the most pressing needs and challenges faced by the residents. Key issues highlighted included the need for land reclamation, the construction of an Islamic center, coastal protection and development of sporting facilities. President Moise underscored the administration's decision to transform Mahibadu into an urban center, one of 7 islands identified for such development. He outlined the benefits and development the island will experience once transformed, including housing projects and other infrastructural improvements. The President highlighted the importance of incorporating residents' input and ideas in the formulation of the land use plan for Maafaru. This island reclamation initiative forms a key part of the administration's electoral commitments designed to address land and space constraints on Mahibadu, with a particular focus on meeting housing needs. Cabinet ministers accompanying the President also shared the administration's developmental plans with the Council and WDC members. President Dr. Mohammad Moise reaffirms his commitment to fulfill the pledges he had made to Hanyamidu and Kumurudu in Alif Dal Atoll. President made this commitment during his meetings with the respective Council and Women's Development Committee WDC as part of his ongoing 2-day tour to some of the islands in the atoll. During the meeting with the Hanyamidu Council members sought assistance for coastal protection measures while emphasizing several priorities, including sports sector development, improvements to the school's facilities, and the establishment of a modern waste management facility. They also shared the community's aspiration to preserve and capitalize on the island's rich cultural heritage, along with a proposed modification to the island's boatyard area. The WDC raised concerns regarding the absence of a nearby picnic island for Hanyamidu residents. They also highlighted the urgent need for government assistance to complete construction of island's purpose-built area for preparing the deceased. In response, President Moise pledged to address the Council's concern in accordance with their recommendations and assured that the promised developments would proceed as planned. In the meeting with the Kumburdu Island Council members had expressed their dismay that no president had visited the island in 15 years. They also noted that the island school and harbour needed to be expanded and investments needed to be made into the waste management and sports sector in the island. The council further noted housing concerns as the core issue facing the residents. Addressing the meeting, President Moise assured that his pledges would be fulfilled, adding that issues raised by the council would be addressed. Cabinet ministers accompanying the president provided updates on ongoing developmental projects in both Hanyamidu and Kumburdu with the respective island councils. Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif arrives in China to attend the 3rd China-Indian Ocean Region Forum on Blue Economy Development Cooperation.
Upon his arrival at Kunming Changshui International Airport, Vice President Latif was welcomed by Luo Hongqiang, Vice Chairman of the Standing Committee of the People's Congress of Yunnan Province, Tang Ying, Head of the Global Development Promotion Center of the China International Development Cooperation Agency (CIDCA), and Wang Wei, Deputy Director General of the Foreign Affairs Office of Yunnan Province. The Maldives is playing a key role as a co-host of this year's forum, which is organized by CIDCA. The event, taking place from December 15th to 17th in Kunming, Yunnan Province, revolves around the theme, The Future of the Blue Indian Ocean Development Practice of the Global South. The forum's agenda includes opening and closing ceremonies, thematic discussions, sub-forums, and roundtables on various pertinent topics. For the first time, the forum will also feature a dialogue between governments and enterprises, according to CIDCA. This dialogue aims to discuss feasible pathways and best practices for multi-stakeholder engagement in international development cooperation. Vice President Latif, attending at the invitation of the Chinese government, is scheduled to deliver an address at the forum's inaugural ceremony. His participation marks a continued engagement as he also attended the second edition of the forum held in China in December 2023.
The government of the Maldives strongly condemned the bombing of Al-Nusayrat camp in central Gaza by Israeli occupational forces, causing the massacre of several innocent civilians. In a statement, the Maldives reaffirmed its position that such repeated and flagrant violations of international law and international humanitarian law targeting of civilians continues to escalate an indescribable dire humanitarian situation in Gaza and must be stopped with urgent, effective interventions from the international community. The Maldives reiterated its call on the international community to take immediate and decisive action to end Israel's aggressive attacks, de-escalate the cycle of violence and protect innocent civilians, and ensure that lasting peace is achieved in the region. The Maldives continues to stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people in their relentless pursuit of justice and statehood. The Maldives enforces a full ban on the use of vaping devices and vaping products as of midnight on 15th December. This move follows an amendment to the Tobacco Control Act ratified on 15th November, which aims to curb the rising trend of vaping in the country. President Dr. Mohammad Moise announced his decision to ban the import, sale and use of vapes and vaping products on 14th October. We will be back after a short break.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
mi zamaantake wanden hallu nuwai gedoruge masdaya taabada iradu kaviya hallu dindan hallu kodde
ಅಳಗಣ್ಮೆಂಗೆ ಮೀ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ ಗಿನ ಮಶ್ರೂತಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರಿಯಂಗೆ ಬಗೆಂದೆ ಉಮ್ರಾಣಿ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ ದಾಯರಾ ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಏಕಿ ಕಂಕೊಳ್ತಾವುಗ ಕುರಿಯತ್ತ ಮಶ್ರೂತಗೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಫಹುಗೆ ತಫ್ಸಿಲ್ತ
ರನ್ವೇ ಮಿ ಉನ್ನನಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗಣಕು ತಿಂಬಯಕ ಪಹಾಲಾಫ
ಮೀ ಮಶ್ರೂತ ಕುರಿಯಗೆಂದನಿ ಗಿನ ಗೊಂಜೆಹುಂತಕ ಕಾಯಕು
ಹಗೀಗತುಗ ಮುಳಿ ಮಾಲೆಯಂ ಹಲ್ಲೆಂ ಅಣ್ಣಾಣಿ ಮುಳಿ ಮಾಲೆಗೆ ಹುರಿಹಾ ಮಗುತಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆದಿಗೆ ಮಾಲೆಗೆ ಹುರಿಹಾ ತನಕ ಸ್ಟೋಮ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಡ್ರೈನೇಜ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ದೇವಿಗೆ
ರೈತುಗೆ ಹೋಫೆಂತಕ ಗೊಳಿಫವಾ ಮೀ ಮಶ್ರೂತಗೆ ತಫ್ಸೀಲ್ ಅಳ್ಮೆನ್ ಬೆಲು ತೆರಿನಾ ಹಮೆ ಗೆನಸ್ತೇನಾ
ದುವೆದಿ ಆದಿತ್ಯ ದುವಹುಗೆರೆ 22 ಕಡಿ ಸುಮ್ಮಿನೆಟುಗ PSM ನ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್
Welcome back to PSN News in English. Ottawa Premier Doug Ford says that Canada will cut off energy supplies to parts of the United States if President-elect Donald Trump follows through on threats to impose tariffs on Canada when he comes into the office.
Ford made the comments on Wednesday after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and other government ministers met with provincial premiers to discuss Trump's pledge to impose steep tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports after he is sworn in as president in January. Some Canadian premiers are urging Ottawa to respond robustly to the threat of tariffs from incoming US President Donald Trump and have highlighted critical minerals and metals as products the United States relies on, Canada's finance minister said on Wednesday. That pledge has raised fears of a trade war between the United States and two of its biggest trading partners. Ford's province, Ontario, does not produce any of the 4 million barrels per day of oil that Canada ships south of the border, but does provide electricity for 1.5 million US homes. Trudeau on Monday said Canada would respond to unfair tariffs as it did during the last Trump presidency, when Ottawa added tariffs to goods including Harley-Davidson, motorcycles and cherries. Trump has said he will keep protectionist trade measures in place until Canada and Mexico clamp down on drugs and migrants crossing the borders into the United States. The federal government also discussed planned border security measures with the premiers.
Palestinian security forces clash with militants in Jenin refugee camp. Residents in the flashpoint-occupied West Bank city of Jenin says Palestinian security forces clashed with Palestinian militants on Saturday, and medics says that at least one gunman was killed.
Friction between Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Western Bank Palestinian Authority PA, and militant factions in Jenin rose over the past week. The PA's security branch said in a statement on Saturday that its forces were undertaking a security operation to restore law and order to the historic refugee camp, a stronghold of Palestinian militants alienated from the Palestinian leadership. The sounds of gunshots and explosions rang out from Jenin, and Palestinian security forces could be seen setting up checkpoints. The Palestinian militant group Hamas, which has been fighting Israeli forces in Gaza for more than a year, condemned the PA for the Jenin operation, and its allied group Islamic Jihad called for a day of rage. Jenin has also been a hotbed of conflict between the Palestinian militant groups and the Israeli military in recent years. Since March 2022, Jenin, the outlying areas in the north of West Bank, have drawn intensified Israeli raids after a spate of Palestinian street attacks.
That's it for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.
For over 30 years, we have been getting stronger and faster. We have been expanding our network across the globe.